here we go. So this is a fun one. What are your thoughts on the new Taylor Swift Ticketmaster collab?
Right. Okay. So we just were about to talk about the this because the question came up, and we were just like, we started to talk about it, and I was like, hold, stop, wait. I want to do this on camera because I have a feeling that we might disagree.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, there's a lot of people talking about it at the moment. It's hot topic.
And there's a lot of people who are not happy.
Yeah.
Most people are not happy. What are your thoughts on it, Melissa?
I think that Taylor Swift is actually a really, really smart businesswoman, and I think I quite like the fact that she's always challenging the music industry and challenging what the norms are. However, I do have a little bit of a but. I worry that with this new system where it's kind of based off how much merch you're buying as a fan and how much you're doing, whether it eliminates fans that don't have as much money or don't perhaps have the resources to be able to do that. Because I think if you're a massive fan of Taylor Swift and you're perhaps saving a lot, or you're relying on your parents who maybe don't earn a lot of money in order to buy a ticket, suddenly you're out of that system if you can't afford to buy all of the merch and everything else around it. Because
it is a financial system.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what the system is Taylor Swift has released her new single. She's teamed up with Ticketmaster, the big ticket machine. And the idea is it's a kind of reward scheme where the more, it's not just the more you buy.
Yeah.
From what I've looked into, the more you engage, the more you look after Taylor Swift, the more she looks after you, effectively, or the Taylor Swift team. The way they've done this is they've said, look, we all hate the bots. When you're trying to rig up a ticket and you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and your hand is hovering over the button and it's like the clock strikes 9 o'clock in the morning and you type the button in and it says, oh, you've sold out. And you're like, how the fuck? I literally was like 1 second into it. How can it be sold out in 3 seconds? We hate that. We hate ticket touts. We hate all that. Us musicians hate it. The consumers hate it. It's unfair on the artists. The artists hate it. The artists feel like that's taking their fan base for a ride because they're having to pay extortionate amounts of money, which they not only don't come to the artists, but also they just feel like taking that money aside, it's just unfair on their fan base. So Taylor Swift, and I have so much time for Taylor Swift because she, out of everyone in the pop mainstream side of the music industry, is one person who realizes that there aren't any rules. Whilst everyone else will go, yeah, the rules are different, or she knows it. Yeah. She knows that she is building this empire and she is able to make up her own rules, and she has got the fan base to be able to do it. I think we'll see a lot more of this sort of stuff from her. Yeah. Now, this is, to me, is supply and demand. Like, I completely agree. Taylor Swift is going to do something that is going to alienate fans who can't afford to see Taylor Swift. That is a shitter. However, should it not be done because 20-30% of the fan bases are alienated, therefore 70% of people who would do stuff, who would want to be involved, who would want to get tickets without going through a bot, aren't, you know, they wouldn't have this opportunity. Yeah. If you are a massive, massive fan, you get to engage and obsess over Taylor Swift, and it earns you points so that when these, you get the rewards. So in my head, I'm like, this is supply and demand. If she puts on a tour, you know, if you put on a gig and you can get 200 people to your gig, and you've only got a venue that holds 30 people, then you're going to fill it up. You've got 200 people who want to come, you've got 30 places. So then it's like, okay, well, how am I going to find the people who deserve to come? This is a way you could say, well, I could find that out. Now, there is a really fine line, because I am loving this idea, because someone is trying something new to say, fuck the touts and fuck the bots. Let's do something and try something different and try and actually look after our fans, even though it will also be looking after Taylor Swift. And it feels a bit sticky with the whole kind of the financial side to it. It's not just engagement, but you know, if you look at one thing, Taylor Swift is better than everybody in the entire world, I would say. It is how to PR yourself in a very clever way. So what used to happen was you get single, you go on TV and you go on the Graham Norton show, or you go on Top of the Pops, or you go on one of those programs. Nowadays with social media, someone like Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift can do something like turn up to a randomer's wedding and sing a first dance like Ed Sheeran did, and all of a sudden that is worth 10 times the amount of publicity and ad space and marketing and getting in front of eyes than it would be just going on one of these TV shows for the same amount of time and effort. So Taylor Swift is amazing at that. She does stuff like, you know, Taylor Swift does a lot of stuff behind the scenes to look after her fan base. She buys Christmas presents for fans. Like, she does stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know,
genius.
she does stuff like that, kind of Oprah Winfrey. You get a car, she does that kind of stuff. So if you look at someone who will take and then put back in again, who could pull this off, it's Taylor Swift, 100%. Because she has got the die-hard fans. She has got enough fans who've got enough money to say, well, yeah, I'm going to buy a t-shirt when I'm there, so I'll just buy a t-shirt beforehand and get a ticket. And they will invest. Where it gets a little sticky is there does feel like a few things. Like, I read one article which said you buy the CD, you pre-order the CD, but if you want the CD on day one, which is when everyone wants it, you have to pay $50 shipping. And I was like, who's delivering that? Yeah. Is Kanye turning up to deliver that? What's happening?
I don't think Kanye.
So, you know, how it works then is there's a fine line. And I would like to know, because all of the details aren't quite out that I've seen, but I would like to see how much of this is purely financial, how much of this is engagement, how much of this is, if you watch my new video and you post on your Facebook and you post on your YouTube and you leave comments, how much of that is going to go towards it as well? Because that is something that is going to be very, very beneficial. She's understanding the social media as she always has, and how to, not only how to get out there as a share, but she's also understanding now how to kick in the algorithm, so Facebook is just doing the job for her. And it's, you know, the thing is we're looking at this from saying, well, you know, people are going to have to spend loads and loads of money. Well, I'm like, true. And if you take it into consideration that Taylor Swift's very, very rich, you kind of go, oh, it feels a bit dirty. Done exactly the same thing. That is exactly the same thing. That is, you look after me, I will look after you. If you share my shit, I'll give you stuff, or give you the opportunity to win stuff. No difference. That is, this week I gave away a bass. I've also, this week, I'm about to give away a day in the studio. Next week, I'll pay for a rehearsal. Next week, I'll do some tickets for a gig. Next week, I will pay for, you know, for a week's worth of rehearsal with a band. And whatever it is, and I'm saying you can win these, but you've got to help trigger my engagement. You've got to build up my Facebook algorithm and my YouTube algorithm, because I know that if that triggers, more people will see it, and those more people will like it, and then those more people, and it goes out and it goes out and it goes out and it goes out. That's exactly the same thing. The only difference is I'm not making you pay. So it's a free thing, so therefore you kind of go, but that's acceptable, because, you know, all we have to do is type hashtag 60min win, and then I get the opportunity to actually get some nice prizes and that kind of stuff. Well, Taylor Swift has just got a much, much more hardcore audience that she can say, yeah, well, you know, buy a t-shirt, like, look after me. Why should the kids who love me and want to get involved in my gigs, why should they be missing out? Because a bot will buy the ticket, and then someone's rich dad will pay 300 quid for a ticket anyway. So I can totally see where this is going. But more importantly, taking aside the debate, because I can see both. I can see when certain kids go, oh, we're priced out of the market. And it's like, oh, that feels nasty. I bet you she does something about that. I bet you she does. But more importantly, what I love about this is I was with Bruce yesterday, and Bruce said something amazing. He said, the music industry has been bitten because the music industry thought it owned music, or thinks it owns music, and it doesn't. Now, everyone's got a piece of the action, which I think is an amazing way of looking at it. The music industry thought that it owned music, and university thinks it owns knowledge, and it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. And Taylor Swift is there to say, fuck you, I'll do this my own way. And she might fall flat on her face, because these things happen. If everyone remembers, a couple of years ago, U2 went in the studio, they made an album, and they gave it to everybody on their iTunes for free. Now, if you actually analyze that, they went into the studio and they said, here is a free thing. And we fucking hated them. Like we were like, how dare you giving me free stuff that I don't want. And I was like, oh, actually, if you look at it, it's quite a nice gesture. They actually went in the studio, they paid all that money, they teamed up with iTunes, they put it on your iTunes and just kind of went there. The hard part was we couldn't delete it, so it backfired in their faces and they got a lot of hate for it. If I was you two, I'd have been sitting there thinking, oh, I thought that was I thought that was good. So, you know, I can totally see how this can backfire. However, I don't think it will because I think she's got such diehard fans. But what is good is she's doing something that hasn't been done before to say the rules are gone.
I would just like to see what she does to look after those that are diehard fans but can't quite afford it. And like another thing as well, I suppose, is say you're under 14 and you can't go to the venue on your own, will your parents not be able to buy tickets because they haven't gone through the fan process as
Possibly.
well and go with
I'm
you?
sure they'll have some kind of what you get allocated to or through it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if she plans ways around it, and I think as long as all her fans, I think, are involved in this, I think it could actually work really well. But I think the controversy is obviously instantly people see it as, oh, this is a money-making thing. That's all it is.
Yeah, and do you know what? Cheers, devil's advocate. If it is, so what?
Yeah, well, I mean, something, you know, it's a way of making money in an industry where the industry doesn't make a lot of money off just music anymore.
Every single day I get musicians asking me about how am I going to make money? My tour doesn't make money. I can't go on tour, it doesn't make any money. My merchandise doesn't sell, I can't make any money. I've made a record, I'm trying to sell it, nobody wants to buy it, I can't make any money. Like, if I say to 99% of the people here, look, I found a way that you can actually monetize this, everyone goes, oh, thank fuck for that. Yeah. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to go, look, let me find a new way. Let me experiment because I have got a shield, which is, I'm fucking Taylor Swift. Yeah. I have got a shield. If anyone can try something new, it's me. And if I can fix this, every artist in the whole of the world will go, that works, we'll do the same thing. Yeah. So this is ballsy as fuck. Yeah, it's brilliant. So cut some slack. So that's what I think. That's my thoughts. My thoughts is everyone bitches and whinges and moans about how the music industry is right now and how ticket touts and all those things and how you can't make any money and stuff. At least she's trying something new. And if she's trying something new and it makes her a shit ton of money, but it actually is a way of working, entrepreneurial wins. She's creative, she's trying something new, it wins. If it doesn't, she falls flat on her face, entrepreneurial gamble. That's just the way it is. You risk and reward. So personally, I hope she makes a shit ton of money because I know she's a good person and she'll put it back in again. I hope the fans actually don't have to pay 3 times as much for a ticket or can't get tickets and have that disappointment, which we've all had trying to get tickets to our favourite show. So for me, I'm a Swiftie. I'm a Swiftie fan.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's. I think we can probably finish the debate on that.
Okay.
No, good luck.
Tell us what you think.
Luck,
I would love to know what musicians think, because if anyone's going to have a problem with this, it's going to be musicians. But I would love to know what you think. And I have no problem with you disagreeing on this, because this is just my way of thinking. But let me know on the comments below whether you are up for this Taylor Swift idea. If you're not, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and what you are going to try and implement into your band product in order to try and see if this is going to work.
Yeah, because it's interesting, because you can totally see both sides as well. It's very hot topic.